Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of People2People in Australia and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. It's Friday afternoon, which means we're here live on Facebook and on YouTube with an employment market update. Well, it's the second last day of October, I think. So tomorrow is Halloween. Haven't got any sort of Halloween theme, I suppose. The closest thing we're likely to get is the thunderstorm here in Sydney this afternoon. I also had to get some weather news in there as well. But one thing I did want to talk about before we get into the detail of today was the new $100 note that Australia has got. Here it is on the screen that Remy's just put up there for us. Now, I know that we call our $20 notes, well, I do, lobsters, and our $50 notes pineapples. But what are we going to call the new $100 note? Now, I rang my dad before we went live here and I said, Dad, well, what do you call them? He says, Mark, I don't know. I've never seen one. I think he's lying to me. But I have heard on the grapevine that they were called grey nurses or whatever. But I've got a Twitter poll. It's a bit of fun. Check it out. I think Remy's popped it in the links there. There it is there if you want to participate in the Twitter poll. Tell us what you think we should actually call the new $100 note. But that's not what we're here for today. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our regular numbers section. We're going to have our regular numbers section. And this week we're going to actually talk through the NAB business confidence numbers that were released. We'll then be chatting with Erin Devlin from our Melbourne office. Well, it's great to be actually able to link up with our Melbourne team, find out what's actually going on down there in Victoria now that it's slowly opening up. We'll also be talking to Catherine Kennedy from our New South Wales team. She's got a few opportunities she'd like to talk to us about. And I suppose the biggest event is the announcement today of the 10th of the month. And Bianca Luck from our contracting team here in Sydney will be announcing those national winners throughout Australia and New Zealand towards the end of the broadcast. We'll only be live for about 20 minutes, so stick with us. If you've got any comments, then please pop them into the section below on Facebook and on YouTube. We can see them live, so hopefully we'll be able to respond directly. I can already see we've got somebody who reckons they should be called the dollar bucks, which is what they call the currency on Bluey. So maybe that's what we should do. So let's get into it, and let's start now with our numbers section. Rightio. So the numbers this week, I've got a couple of things I'd like to show everybody. I thought I would start initially with the NAB quarterly business survey, and here are the numbers that we've got on screen here. There's a couple of highlights. So just Remy, if you could leave it up there, so as I read through these highlights. So the first is in regards to the business conditions. So and there's a difference between business confidence and business conditions. So business conditions rose by 22 points to -4. The improvement was driven by a strong rebound in most industries, and it was led, interestingly, by retail and wholesale. Through the services sector also saw an increase of 20 points or above. In business confidence, which is the number that's most, I think anyway, is most relevant for us when we're looking at the employment market, it improved by 5 points to -10. So confidence improved in all industries except retail and recreational and personal services, which sort of makes sense. Nonetheless, confidence remains negative in all industries and is weakest in recreational and personal services, manufacturing, finance, business and property services. So the leading indicators saw a broad-based rebound following the sharp falls in the last quarter. And the labour indicators in the numbers that are on the screen there somewhat reflected the marginal recovery in the labour market to date. The expected and actual employment indicators saw improvements, and at the 12-month horizon even turned positive. So what that means is that they're expecting things to turn in about 12 months. So when I actually complete this survey for People2People, and they ask you, what do you think is going to happen in 3 months? What's going to happen in 12 months? And it appears that labour market indicators are at that there's going to be improvement at 12 months. So there is also another graph that was included in the package from NAB survey, and I just wanted to show this one here. The red line is conditions, which I talked about. The black line is confidence over the last from 2011 to 2020. You can see the sharp decline, obviously, with the recession, and then the improvement in conditions and the responding improvement in confidence. Why did I want to show this one to you today? Because it also indicates the changes or the conditions in a dotted red line for the 1990s recession. And you can see it's way down the bottom. You can only just see it there on the screen. And the dark dotted line for confidence was the level in the 1990s recession. So you can see confidence declined in this downturn more than in 1990s, but not conditions. So that may be a response to government policy, etc. But the rebound is now at a point where we're better than where we were before. Sorry, so just to rehash that, conditions are, it's basically a better picture than the 1990s recession, which anecdotally, if you're down the pub talking to people, it doesn't feel that way. But certainly from the numbers in the confidence and conditions from the NAB survey, it is not quite as bad. So let's have more of a detailed look at some of the numbers out of SEEK, which are released monthly. And what I wanted to show everybody was firstly a year-on-year comparison in different industry sectors. The red is all bad news on a year-on-year comparison, except for community. This is the number of vacancies listed and the change in those vacancies listed year on year. Community services and development, trades and service and farming are the top three. So they're in the year on year, they're better than where they were before. But every other sector is not looking good at all. The bottom two are information and communication and hospitality and tourism. If we flick to the next one, Remy, that is a much more positive picture. And you can see this is a month-on-month change. So we are in the recovery phase, and I thought it's good to have some positive news out there. So the recovering sectors, trades and services, and hospitality and tourism are the top in terms of the percentage recovery. Then manufacturing, transport and logistics, then retail. But month on month, we are climbing out. The real question for us is how quickly we're going to climb out. But some good news in those SEEK numbers, and some good news that this downturn from the NAB survey does not look quite as bad as the 1990s recession there as well. So that's it for the numbers section. So now let's move on and let's join Erin Devlin from our Victorian team. And it's fantastic to actually have Erin with us today to give us the full update on what's actually going on in Victoria. And we're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. Erin, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks, Mark. I think Monday was a bit of a hard day for Victorians, but once we got to the afternoon and we knew that we were going to start opening up, I don't think you've seen a more excited state than we have been this week. So I know a lot of us are very excited about the things that we can do, but also conscious of being sensible and making sure that we're, keeping a lid on things as well. But from a jobs perspective, we have actually seen a bit of an increase in internet vacancies. So that's really positive. We're still down 12.2% year on year. But when you think about the fact that in April we were down nearly 50% on last year, it's definitely an improvement on where we've come from this year. We had an increase of 6.4% in September with the internet vacancy index. So that's an extra 8,700 advertised jobs. So definitely improving, which is great. And hopefully after these recent announcements, it'll get better and better. What are companies advertising for? It's typically call center is one of the strongest areas. Then surprisingly, we're actually starting to see businesses think about their front office. So receptionists are actually starting to come on as vacancies now as businesses start to plan to go back to the office. For some businesses, that's still a way away because the advice down here is that you must work from home if you can until we've had a certain period of no active cases. And also carers, aides and medical professionals are obviously in quite high demand down here. But we've seen a tapering off of the emergency casual vacancies that were required to help staff all of the aged care facilities during the height of our second wave. We've also seen a 50% increase from Indeed data around the number of Christmas casual jobs that are expected this year. So
I saw a question there about what industries would be recruiting up as they come up into Christmas. What do you see?
Yeah. Well, I think the difference, we'll definitely see a coming back of retail. So our retail stores started to open again on Wednesday, and of course there's existing staff in those positions, but also there'll be a wave of new recruitment with those businesses. And I think what's different this year, it's going to be a very busy period for those talent acquisition teams in those companies, because normally they would do that Christmas casual recruitment middle of the year and then be all ready to go and have started that process nice and early. So it will be a bit of a last minute rush, but more opportunities coming up in that space. And then I think as businesses return to the office predominantly, hopefully either towards the end of this year or early next year, we'll start to see positions that are required more from an office-based perspective come back as well. We saw our unemployment rates increase to 6.9%, but given the lockdown, I think that's actually better than expected. Perhaps it's not the true underlying number, but it's still better in actual terms than we thought it would be. So that's a positive as well.
Yeah, I think in previous weeks we've looked at some of those numbers, and some of the other states are actually higher than Victoria. So I think it's because Victoria was coming from such a good position prior, and then that increase has been a remarkable change. So, and is there any? We were chatting just beforehand in terms of customer service. Are you seeing any movement there?
Definitely. I think there's been a lot of redeployment. So businesses have actually tried to shift people from roles that aren't busy to that front line. And early on in the first wave for Victoria, that was really around all of the changing regulations and government recommendations and customers calling in to try and find out, what's happening with their accounts or their business with that company. Now there's definitely still demand for those contact centre, call centre positions, customer service roles. We've got quite a lot of demand in Victoria for sales positions as well, a lot of phone-based sales positions, and we're seeing much more openness to the ability to onboard remotely and to actually work fully remotely. So we've got clients that are now saying we're happy to hire where the person isn't located near the office. They'll only, they're able to work either fully remotely or only have to come in very rarely. So that's a real change, and I think that's aligned with what we've seen from Indeed, for example, who mentioned that even just the search term remote working is searched for 3 times more often now than it was last year. So it's definitely a changed working style down here.
Yeah, never be the same again. And how are you feeling? What are you looking forward to the most now that you can actually go beyond 5 kilometres from your house?
Apart from a haircut, Mark, when I can get in, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing family and friends. And it probably sounds a bit cheesy, but it'd be great to actually see work colleagues as well, because it is great to have that flexibility and to work from home, but I think we're all just really looking forward to seeing each other and eventually coming back to the office when we can, and actually be able to meet clients and candidates face to face, because we want to do it when it's safe, but it's just so much nicer to have that face to face interaction. So when it's safe, we're looking forward to being able to do that.
Fabulous, fantastic. So a lot going on then in Victoria. So if somebody wants to have a chat to you about the market or about potential opportunities, how should they get in touch with you?
I think my contact details are there on the screen. Yes. The number is 1300 338 546. Or you can drop me an email, or you can, if you want to follow us for updates, you can follow the People to People social media pages, or you can follow me on LinkedIn as well.
Fabulous, fantastic, and good to see you. And we're so pleased that Melbourne is back on track. So thanks for joining us, Erin, today. So now let's move on then and have a quick chat to Catherine Kennedy from our Sydney team, because Kath's got a few opportunities around the different divisions in New South Wales that you'd like to talk to us about.
I do, and it's interesting to hear what Erin was saying about customer service, because that's definitely been an area that we've seen a lot more traction in the last couple of weeks. And echoing what you were saying about there being sort of signs of recovery, we've also seen that at the front line. So I think over the last week, we've had more job orders come in for that week than we had really since kind of March or so that pre-COVID time. So definitely encouraging signs in the market, but particularly in customer service. So there's actually there's 4 live positions that the team are working on at the moment, some of them actually for multiple listings, so they're looking for more than one person. A blend of temporary assignments and temp to perm assignments. So that seems to be the trend at the moment, that there's not quite as much direct permanent activity, but there's just much more of a trend towards temp or temp to perm. So we've got a couple that are based in the city, so in the CBD. This is working with an insurance company, inbound customer service roles to start really quickly, and it's a temporary assignment till at least the end of January. So it will give people that security and that work over that Christmas period, which typically is pretty quiet. So very much open to people on a working holiday visa, if there are people who are still here on a working holiday visa and looking for work.
Many as they used to be, hey? Many as they used to be.
I know, yeah, no, definitely. It's there's not quite as many, not quite as many of them around, but absolutely open to working holiday visas for that particular opportunity. We've also got a 6-month contract based in North Sydney for an FMCG business. Once again, an inbound customer service position. All of these roles, I think, are driven by the business really sees that there is a requirement for more frontline staff, but there's just still a little bit of a hesitation to make that long-term commitment. So that's why we're seeing, it's not that there's a maternity cover or a holiday leave or anything, it just is a little bit more caution on behalf of the companies. So that role's based in North Sydney, and then there's 2 actually in Western Sydney. So wherever you live in Sydney, there's probably an opportunity, both in the Norwest area. One's for an e-commerce business, and that's certainly an industry that's doing really well, and in the lead into Christmas is needing to certainly bulk up their frontline workforce. And then the others with a healthcare business based in Norwest as well. That opportunity is temp to perm, so looking to have someone come on board for maybe a couple of weeks, and then if that works for everybody, convert to permanent. So I will make sure that all of these different ads, the links to them are shared in the comments, so you can go and
a lot of them up there already.
Yeah, great. I mean, what I would say, the message that I'd convey is that if anyone's watching and has got customer service experience, some of these roles, there's a particular industry that they're looking for, a particular system. But if you've got that sort of experience, we're really seeing a demand for that type of candidate. So definitely reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly or any of the relevant consultants who are advertising these positions. So we've been busy in the customer service area. The other area that's continuing to be really pretty busy, and there's at least 4 or 5 active roles that we've been working across right now, is in our legal area. So across a wide range of areas of law, workers' compensation, insurance litigation seems to be particularly busy at the moment. We're looking for an intermediate legal secretary with government experience. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions ranging from intermediate to senior, from boutique sort of firms right through to top tier firms. Once again, we've got a reasonable mix of city-based firms, but also firms based in, there's one in Parramatta, there's one sort of in the southwest area, so kind of all across the Sydney region.
Yeah, legal support has really held up during this downturn, hasn't it? I mean, and it's the good thing is that it seems to be broad-based across those areas of law. So, if you're into legal support, or you have a background within a law firm, then you should jump on the phone to our team. And I suppose that's a good nice lead in. How should everybody get in touch with either of the officers or yourself, Kath?
Sure. So I'm very happy to talk to people directly, and hopefully my details are just there on the screen. So you can call me, or echoing what Erin said, follow me on any of the social channels or drop me an email. Probably for the specific opportunities, it's best to just look at the link and either apply or pick up the phone and call the relevant consultant. But if you're just not sure where to go, or if it's all a bit too much, contact me and I'll make sure that I put you in contact with the right person.
Fabulous. Fantastic. Good to see you again. Thanks, Kath. Lots of opportunities in New South Wales. And I can't encourage everybody enough to pick up the phone, like go a little bit old school. Makes a very big difference. confidence in your chance?
Yeah, I think particularly when there are a large volume of applications at the moment, and particularly a customer service type role. If you pick up the phone, you're halfway there if you can sort of demonstrate that you've got those skills. So definitely do that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kath. Rightio. Let's move on, and we've got some announcements to make, and that is for our temp of the month for the offices across Australia and New Zealand. And to join us for that is our very own Director of Contract and Temporary Services, Bianca Luck.
Hi, Mark. How you going?
I'm very well. I'm still a little bit COVID. I'm still carrying those COVID pounds. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I've got to stop mentioning it live on Facebook every Friday because it might be affecting me somehow. Okay, but why don't you tell us about the winners throughout Australia and New Zealand?
Before I announce the winners for the Temp of the Month, I just want to give you a quick temp update, if that's okay, Mark.
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
So this week has actually been good. So we've finally seen a bounce back in temp roles, and echoing exactly what Kath and Erin said, business support roles are standout. There's a lot of customer service roles about, admin roles are coming back, and we even got a handful of talent acquisition roles that were listed this week, which means that clients are hiring again, which is really positive. Government recruitment seems to be steady. Accounting roles are kind of ticking along as well. And the short-term temp roles are coming back, so they're ranging from anything from 2 to 3 days to 6 months. And the industries that we're getting the roles in, once again, property, but we're getting them from insurance, FMCG, healthcare, and legal. And we're finding now too that candidates are being a little bit less hesitant about securing work and more open to the opportunities to lock in up until January, at least to get through that Christmas period.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit on the temp market. So shall I announce the winners?
Go for it. You tell us all about that. Tell us who the winner is and maybe a few comments about everybody.
Okay. So managers, don't forget to nominate your temps. It's really easy to do. It takes about a second. A little pop-up box comes up when you're about to approve the timesheet. So we've had a fair few nominations this month. So I'm just going to announce the winners if that's okay. So here we go. Adelaide, we've got Georgia Harrison. So Georgia's showing great commitment to learn in a short term and already has advanced grasp on systems and processes and demonstrating fantastic efficiency levels, and Georgia can be relied on. So over to New Zealand, we've got Auckland, we've got Jazreel Pagalinwa. So Jazreel has been highly effective in her role, working with an overseas team and constant changing project landscapes. Through all of this, she's managed to keep a clear eye on her objectives and continues to do a great job. So for the winner for Brisbane is Jennifer Treesdale. So Jennifer's dedication and confidence and reliability and teamwork and ability to work in harmony with her co-workers has been amazing. She's just an awesome asset to my team. And
Fabulous.
So for P2P HR Solutions, we have Crystal Lim. This is an amazing comment. So Crystal is the world's best employee. That says a lot. Yep. She's hardworking and she's the hardest working person in P2P.
Congratulations, Chris.
Parramatta, we've got Diana Ziazar. So Diana is a great candidate. She's switched on. She's diligent. She gets things done. If I ask her to do something, it's already done very quickly. She's very fast. She's got accuracy, which is her key to success, and she goes above and beyond expectations. And for Sydney, lucky last, we have Lynn Bailey. So Lynn is one of the most pleasant temps I've worked with and has fitted into the team and the company culture really well. So all of those comments have been nominated by the individual's managers over this last month. So congratulations, guys. That's it from me.
Fabulous. Thank you. Fantastic, Bianca. That's it's always good to hear those really cool comments come through at the end of each month. And congratulations to all the winners throughout Australia and New Zealand. So thanks, B. Hopefully we'll see you. Well, we will see you next week.
We will indeed.
Next month. We'll do it all again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. And that brings us to the end of the broadcast today. So before we go, I just want to remind everybody about our magic competition that's happening in New Zealand for those that are watching from New Zealand, and that is the hashtag NZ Top Dog. So basically New Zealand's top office dog. There's actually 3, I think, categories that they're working for, but it's so cute. You've got to check it out. Jump online. Thanks to Petstock, our sponsors over there, and Pet Refuge. And obviously, we are Frog Recruitment. People to People is Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. Check out the socials. Get on there, and if you have friends and relatives in New Zealand, then make sure you get them to enter their own dog into the competition as well. So thanks everybody for joining us today. It's great to be with you, and thank you to Erin in Melbourne for joining us. Thank you to Kath in Sydney for joining us, and also for Bianca here in Sydney as well, with the winners of our 10th of the month. We'll see you all again next week. Thanks for watching.